Student debt is becoming a bigger and bigger issue every year, so much so that certain politicians have dedicated their entire campaign to make college more affordable, but of course, all that just means is giving the responsibility to someone else. College tuition has risen a significant amount in the past decade, and it has people asking the question, what are we going to do about it? Well, some people actually think it's a good idea to give their bill to the taxpayer next door. But being a college student myself, I thought it would be fun to talk about this. Let's take a look at some grown adults who've made poor economic decisions and of course refuse to take any responsibility for it.
My name is Brittany. I went to Tufts University. I studied drama and communications, and I owe $118,000 in student loans.
$118,000. That's crazy. And all for a drama degree. The average student loan debt in 2018 was just under $30,000 per student. And that's for useful degrees. Maybe she should have majored in economics or finance so she could have better understood this beyond dumb decision.
I'm a freelance production assistant. I also work at a dance studio as a receptionist, and I also work for a temp agency.
Okay, at least she works. She has 3 jobs. That's good. She's probably a really busy person. But these are all jobs that you can have without a college degree. And the problem is, she will most likely be stuck with these jobs for the rest of her life. Majoring in anything arts-based is risky because of the competition. It's more opportunity and luck-based than skill-based, I would say. And another thing about having a drama degree is that there is virtually no guarantee that she will ever become a famous actress. She spent $118,000 on a degree that will most likely not help her get the career she's trying to get. Being an actor is one of those luck-based jobs where you just have to know the right people and hope to be discovered. It's wasting all of this money on something that might not ever happen. She can't just walk into an audition, show them her degree, and then star in a movie. She pretty much just scammed herself.
Every day I call Congress.
Senator Feinstein's office.
Hi, my name is Brittany King, and I'm a constituent from Los Angeles. And I was calling to know, what are you guys doing about student loan reform?
Ah, yes. Call your daddy, the government, to figure out what they're going to do to fix all of your mistakes. Later in the video, she claims that she took out student loans when she was 18 and said it wasn't fair because she didn't understand what she was doing. I agree that high school doesn't teach us anything about finances, but that's why you have to talk to people about it. Whenever you're dealing with something serious like your future, college, or money, always ask people about it. Call your parents. Meet with your academic advisor. They can help you. Don't just sign your name under something you don't understand, because the next thing you know, you'll be $100,000 in debt. It just seems like a dumb excuse. It should also be noted that she lives in LA, which is like the worst place to live if you're not doing good with money. Another dumb decision of hers.
What about 27-year-old teacher Beth Hansen? In addition to working full-time at a Maryland middle school, she now works 2 other part-time jobs, running an after-school book club, singing in a church choir, and yet earned only $46,000 total last year, while still owing more than $60,000.
She took out $60,000 in loans. That's double the average amount. She also did this to pursue a career in education, which we all know how little teachers usually make, especially middle school. Why the hell would you want to teach middle school? It's the worst thing ever. Despite my deep hatred for middle school, I will say that teachers have a significant amount of benefits. I also have a huge appreciation for teachers as they can make a huge impact on our youth. But there is no way she thought through her actions. Plus, I didn't even know you could get paid to run a book club or sing in a choir. So yeah, my ignorant assumption would be that that is nowhere near enough to get you to $60,000 a year. Once again, choices. Now let's take a look at another young millennial.
She also cobbled together 11 student loans.
Probably graduated with about $53,000 in student debt. That number hit me for the first time my last semester of college, and it was the first time I saw the full balance, and I had a panic attack immediately.
All I can say is, what did you expect? Do you guys just not keep track of anything that has to do with money because you're scared? I would think that the sudden shock of a number after it's all done with would be much worse. As she said, and girl, you took out 11 loans. Of course it's not going to be a small number. And now it's your turn to pay that all back.
She had to quit her first job, her dream job, registering voters in Colorado.
Wait, what? That's her dream job? That's more of a part-time job, honestly. I did that my freshman year of college just because I was bored. Why would you go to college to do that as a career? I understand you want to read a textbook and then claim that you know everything, but it's like you're paying thousands of dollars to be set back. Not the smartest investment.
Jessica Love Jordan is in a similar situation. She started college late and is now working on finishing her master's in addiction counseling. She juggles school, work, and being a single parent, and sometimes the debt feels too much.
Now and again, when I look at the statement and see how much I actually have to pay back, it's almost suffocating.
When she graduates, she can expect to make about $33,000 annually as an addiction counselor. Her debt will be about $90,000.
Two things. One, of course, she's a single parent. Not to be judgy, but that's a huge pattern I've noticed in women being in this situation. And second, there is no reason that becoming a counselor should cost you almost $100,000. She is never going to be able to pay that back, while being a single mom. It really sucks, but in order to guarantee it being paid back, your annual salary would have to be equal to or more than how much you owe. She will be making 1/3 as much as she owes with her debt. Plus add a child into that. That's nearly impossible. She has to change something. But at least Bernie Sanders will be happy to get one more vote. Next, let's take a look at what would have happened to AOC if she had stayed out of politics. This person is not in a situation of student debt, but rather a victim of the United States government who decided not to go to college.
I want to show you something. This is my 2-week paycheck stub for McDonald's, only $500. Many of my coworkers make even less. I want to show you something else. This is a receipt for my son's childcare, which was $100 a week. I also have to pay heat and water, which is $300. On top of that, I have to pay $500 for rent. I can't pay my bills and support my son off of the poverty wages that I make, even after 5 years working at McDonald's.
She later says that she makes $12.50 an hour, which is nowhere near an actual poverty wage. According to my state, she would have to be making $7.91 to be considered in poverty. The problem is that these Bernie Sanders superfans declare anything under $15 an hour as oppressive and impossible to live off of.
You know, 50 years ago, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. marched along with 25,000 people from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama. There he said, "Let us march on poverty so that no American parent
has to skip a meal so that their children may eat. Let us therefore continue our triumphant march to the realization of the American dream."
I just want to say that he was marching for the equal treatment of all races and spoke on poverty as a direct result of discrimination and oppression. You, on the other hand, have every opportunity to make something of yourself because there is not one law or social norm holding you back like there was in the past. You're not going through anything. You just chose a bad job and now you want your 15 minutes of fame.
Today, I'm here to announce that we are continuing that march. Later this month, the 5 for 15 will march to the McDonald's shareholder meeting in Oak Brook, Illinois. That's where they decide what to do with their money. We've worked hard and we've walked a long path to get here.
You walked a long path to get here? Where is here exactly? Flipping burgers at a fast food joint that usually hires 15-year-olds as their first job? I don't know. In my opinion, you're making about $4 more than you should. I'm not saying that you don't work hard, but you clearly never set your goals high, and this is where you are now. No one did that but you.
As Dr. King said in 1965, how long will it take?
How long? Not long.
It's time to pay people enough to survive.
How long? Not long.
It's time to pay people what they deserve.
How long? Not long.
It's time for $15 and union rights.
How long? Not long.
Jesus Christ, you're not MLK. You're a woman who was never told what you could accomplish, so you placed yourself at the bottom. It's honestly so insulting to take the cause of what Dr. King was fighting for and use it to claim that you're doing the same thing as him. Stop it. You have an entitled attitude coming from a privileged country and had every opportunity to get to the top. You didn't take it and now you're here. That is on you. And if you're in the same position as this woman, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I understand things happen and sometimes you have to settle. I know someone has to take jobs like these and it sucks if that's you. But do not cry and demand to make much more money than you deserve to put fries upside down in a to-go bag. There's always something you can do to better yourself, and it's a lot easier than trying to change the economics of this country. This lady was also featured on Bernie Sanders' YouTube channel, so let's take a look at what she has to say there.
In a perfect world, everyone goes to college. Someone still has to work fast food. Working for McDonald's, making poverty wages, especially being a single mom.
So as I said earlier, it's a common theme here for these women to be single moms. This probably goes back to poor education, but either way she's young and stuck with a child. I would like to ask why the father isn't paying for child support. If he did, maybe she could find a better job and get her life on track.
It doesn't make sense that I'm what they consider full-time and I still don't have enough to take my son to the movies or buy him a Spider-Man ball that he loves, because I have to make sure that he's clothed first, that he has food on the table first before I can get him a want. I need to think about the needs.
Yeah, that's the situation of any smart parent. You're an adult, so you have to be this thing called responsible.
How many weeks of paid vacation do you get?
None.
Everybody hear that?
No paid vacation.
There's quite a few articles that say McDonald's offers paid vacations to thousands of employees a year, but maybe those are only management positions. So there you go, become a manager and get paid vacation. If you've been there for 8 years and aren't a manager, then maybe you're just not a good worker.
We can take 2 weeks off, but you will not get paid.
This is an employee who has worked for a company for 8 years in the wealthiest country in the history of the world. She works hard and she gets 0 paid vacation.
Yeah, take it from Bernie, the grandpa who has never worked a day in his life and lectures people about the importance of jobs and high pay, all while being a millionaire with multiple houses.
After 2 years, they decided to give us 20-cent raises and people were mad, extremely mad. You feel worthless. We weren't even people.
I can think of quite a few people in history who didn't feel human either.
They wanted everything done fast and right.
Yeah, that's typically what a multi-billion-dollar company would expect from their employees.
If I go look for another job, the only thing that's available is minimum wage jobs. And I don't want to go back down. I can barely make it off of 12. How am I going to survive off of 8?
Well, it's widely known that McDonald's provides many workers with financial assistance. So if you hadn't had your kid at 18, then you could have gone to college and moved on by now. Or maybe get his father in his life to take care of him while you fix your future.
If I'm busting my butt, I don't want to ask anybody for anything, especially not the government.
Then why the hell are you supporting Bernie Sanders, the man who wants voters to be hooked on government assistance? The people I've shown in this video all have different stories, but one thing in common. They all blame the system. Everyone is responsible for their debt or low-paying job besides themselves. And as they will soon find out, that behavior will only keep them where they are now. They will not better themselves if they don't take responsibility. Listen, if you're working at a fast food place and you like it there, that's great, keep the job. But just know, asking for $15 an hour is ridiculous for that line of work. And if you want to do more in life, ask your manager about tuition assistance. Almost everyone can better themselves if they choose to. This isn't coming from a privileged perspective either. I've worked my fair share of crappy jobs since I was 14, just for the experience, but I've always stayed in school and now I'm aiming for my law degree. I think it's also important to know that college isn't the answer for everything. If you have a job in mind and you can get it without getting into debt and wasting your time, go for it. Sometimes opportunities fall into your lap, and you should always take advantage of that. Nobody is better than anybody because they went to college. I guess my main message is just do you, as long as you're contributing to society and have purpose, as my mother always says. Also, don't act like a whiny victim because of your own adult decisions. But that's all for this video. Let me know what you think about this whole thing down below. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to call in sick to my job and go march in the streets claiming that I'm a good employee who deserves to make more money. Bye.